Hey, Rusty, this is Bill Hernandez, editor at rockbandreviews.com in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. How are you this morning?
Good, Bill. How are you?
Wonderful. You got a couple of minutes to do a quick phoner?
Sure.
All right.
You
Well,
bet.
where are you at today? Are you in South Florida yet?
No, we're just actually packing the car. We get there about 4. No, actually, we get there about 7 or 8 tonight.
Oh, good. Well, at least you got a day to kind of relax before the show on Saturday at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Looking forward to it.
awesome. I tell you, I've never seen POCO in 23 years of reviewing music, so I'm very excited to come out and see you guys finally.
Wow, great, terrific.
Now,
I'm looking forward to it too.
Now, while doing research for this interview, I see that you're pretty much going on 50 years as a founding member of POCO. I mean, how does that feel to be in this business for so long?
Yeah, it feels unexpected. I never really planned on that or thought it would happen. But, we just kept rolling, and here we are. And this year, I just on pretty much this weekend when I'm down there, we're pre-releasing my solo record, my first solo record in 50 years. It's called Waiting for the Sun. And so it's a pretty exciting time.
Will that be available for sale at the venue?
No, the pre-sale starts
Oh,
15th.
all right.
And then September 15th is when it's available. But if you do the pre-sale, they send you 4 tracks from the CD. So you get a chance to hear it ahead of time.
Fantastic. We'll definitely be sure to let our readers know about that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Now, what are you still doing on the road? Because I read a couple of years ago you were looking to retire.
Well, I was. I thought it was time to slow down, and I live in Missouri, out in the Mark Twain National Forest, and it's really, really lovely here. And touring is so difficult these days. That the travel has become so difficult, and
Sure.
I just thought it was time to slow down. And I was doing a show in California with my friend Jimmy Messina, and I thought that was what my plan was, is to do shows. I do shows every once in a while with Richie Furay or with Jimmy Messina, or if something comes up that's really, like a Paris show or something.
Sure.
I thought, those are the shows I'll do, and not the grind and, the clubs that there's a circuit that you play, the big major clubs. And so I was playing this concert with Jimmy, and Kirk Page came up to me. He's the head of Blue Alone,
Uh-huh.
and he said, "Listen, would you be interested in recording a solo album for us?" And I hadn't thought of that at all. And I knew that on that label was Jack Kempson, who's a friend of mine. He wrote "Peaceful, Easy Feeling,"
Yep.
and Gary Beckley from America. And I talked to them, and they loved the album. They loved the label, I mean. And so I thought, what the heck, this, I've never done it. It's a challenge. This is the time to do it before I really do retire. And so that's convinced me to do it. And I love the challenge. I thought, boy, writing, you got to write about 20 songs to get 10 that you like.
Yeah.
That's a job. And it took me a year to do it, a year to write and record the CD. But it's so worth it.
I mean, 50 years in this business, I'm sure you still have a ton of material laying around somewhere that needs to be heard.
Not really.
No?
Not anymore. No, they all went towards this record.
Now, looking back, years and years and years and years ago, when did you first know that you wanted to make music for a living?
Well, I started, I was 6 years old when I started music lessons, and I actually started playing up in the Colorado Rockies. I'm from Colorado. When I was about 12 years old, 11 and 12, playing on Sunday afternoons, where my dad would pass the hat, and we'd play, Sleepwalk, and all those hits, instrumental hits from the 50s, and make a few. I used to say I was the richest kid I knew because I would make like $10 on a Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Back then, for an 11 or 12-year-old, that was big money. So that's, and I got the bug, and that's all I've ever done. I actually started giving guitar lessons when I was 14,
Oh, wow.
and worked at a guitar studio in Denver, selling guitars and teaching. And so and then playing bars at night, country bars at night. So it's all I've ever done. So it was pretty predictable. the direction I was going to go.
Now, you play all different types of the guitar instrument. What is it that drew you to the guitar?
Well, when in 1952, when they gave guitar lessons, everybody started off in a big classroom, and everyone had what they call a lap steel, which is I still play. I'll play that on stage there in Pompano. And that's how you started with the lap steel, and you learn to play that, and then you would move on to a six-string guitar. And that's just how it was. And then the lap steel evolved into what they call pedal steel guitar now in the mid-50s. And so I just, I stuck with playing lap steel, and then I learned to play pedal steel. And then, guitar came along, and Buddy Holly, and, of course, the Beatles and all that. And, playing guitar was so much fun, so essential. And then, the folk era hit, and I learned to play banjo and mandolin. And it just kept building from there until I play most everything with strings except for fiddle. Never did learn fiddle.
Oh, wow. Now, have you finished that book you've been writing for over 10 years now?
I actually, the label has a connection to publishers. The guy that owns the label, actually was a bookseller and had his bookstores in California. And so I've already given copies out, and we're talking about getting it published in the near future.
Oh, fantastic. You got to be excited about that.
Oh, it'll be great. That's been a long project, and it's a really fun one too. It's called Snapshots, and that's because I have I think there might be 40 or 50 chapters, but some of the chapters are just a page. They're just little snapshots of things, times when I was backstage with Elton John and or Janis Joplin, or being in the studio watching Keith Moon record, or Joe Walsh backstage giving guitar lessons to Richie Furay.
Wow.
Things like that, where some of them are, 8 or 10 pages, and some of the stories are one page, and so they're snapshots. So,
as a writer, I think that's a original and unique and fantastic idea, because there's some times when, let's say you're sitting in the doctor's office and you have your book with you, and you only have time to read maybe a chapter or just something really quick,
Yeah, I think it's going to be neat. And all the pictures in it they look like snapshots. All the pictures from over the years. So it's got a theme, and I think it's different than any other autobiography I've read. I like to call it my unauthorized autobiography. So it's different.
Well, I'm definitely going to keep an eye and ear out for that, and definitely get a copy, and we'll review it the moment it comes out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now, how great is it to look out into the audience and seeing a new generation of fans out there, these young people?
Yeah, it is really great, and a lot of them grew up on POCO music because their parents were fans of POCO,
yeah.
and now they are, and there's some of the most avid fans too these days. So that's really rewarding. The circle keeps going around.
Yeah. So now, what's next for you and POCO?
I'm not sure. We're going to see what's going on with this. The guys are all, 100% helping me with this project, and we'll see whether, we do another POCO record, or I do another solo record. I just, it's going to be about 6 or 8 months before I really know where things are.
All right.
Where they've settled.
Well, in the meantime, take it easy and safe travels to the road to you and the boys, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with us today. You bet, Bill. And if people come to the show, we have lots of merchandise, and after the show, we'll be signing autographs and talking to people, and getting to meet everyone that wants to talk. So we'll see you there. Fantastic. We're actually bringing a guitar backstage, and Pure Prairie League is already on board. We want to see if POCO wants to sign on it. We're going to donate it to the Miami Dolphins Foundation. Oh, nice. Absolutely, we will. All right, wonderful. Well, I look forward to meeting you and seeing you on Saturday night at the Pompano Beach Amphitheater with Pure Prairie League and Firefall. Thanks, Bill. All right, drive safe, buddy. You too. Bye. Bye-bye.